John told us that y'all openly discussed kind of how important these next two games are just for the future of the team, potentially this season. How open have you been about just what's at stake right now?
Yeah, I mean, we talk about we'd all like to play in the NCAA tournament. I mean, I've coached in 3 out of the last 4, and our junior class has played in 1 out of 2. It's a big deal. We're not in right now. In order to get in, we got to have some more quality wins. Well, you've got 2 opportunities sitting in front of you this week, so it's big. I mean, Auburn's going to remain. I mean, they've only lost 2 games all year. They're going to be a quad 1 win, 100%. You know, and LSU, even at home, will in all likelihood end up as a quad 1 game. So, if you know, we've got 1 quad 1 win right now. Need to get at least 1 more. So this week's a big week in my opinion.
Have an update on Herb.
Yeah, you know what? He had the surgery last Saturday. So for about a week and a half out. They were predicting 3. I think it's going better than normal. We're hoping for maybe 2.5, maybe a week from today. I mean, we're doing conditioning with him, trying to keep him in shape, doing a bunch of right hand. He can't do anything with his left hand really, so he's doing a bunch of right hand. You know, we'll probably bring him back well before he's 100%. I mean, the kids wanting to play all the time, but the left hand's still sore. He can't really do anything with it. So we got to get it to a point where he can at least function, you know, where he can pass, catch, dribble some, you know, shoot free throws at least. And then once that gets to that point, hopefully, I mean, he does well. He tolerates pain well, hopefully another week or so.
Just to clarify this, just till he can get to practice?
No, I mean, once he can practice, we'll probably put him in games. It may be limited. Maybe it'll be an offense, defense type deal to start. But no, I mean, he's not practicing now. He's on the side with a GA or an assistant just doing right-hand skill work right now. And running him, trying to make sure he doesn't lose conditioning while he's out.
So based on how well he's doing, it's at least a possibility that he could be back for A&M next Wednesday?
Yeah, I hope so. I think there's a very good possibility. Obviously, it'd be nice to have him for these next 2. It doesn't work out that way. Hopefully at the end of the year, the committee's always said that they take injuries into account. We hope they do, but we still gotta get some quality wins with or without her. But yeah, I would hope he could play in some limited role for the A&M. If not, I think definitely positive for the one following that. I don't even know who's after that, to be honest with you.
How tough has it been on him knowing that this is 2 ranked games that he's going to miss?
I mean, it's hard. I mean, in his mind, I think he'd try to maybe play tomorrow, but he's not. I mean, he hasn't practiced at all. So I mean, he wants to compete against Auburn. He's an Alabama kid that grew up in Alabama that understands the Alabama-Auburn rivalry. He's only got 3 more of these, you know, barring tournament play left in his career. So to miss this one's obviously going to be tough for him.
You shared a tweet with some fortunate news of passing your grandfather. Just what was that relationship like and the impact he's had on you?
Yeah, so it was my last remaining grandparent. It's my dad's stepdad, actually. My dad's real father died when he was 4, so it was really the man that raised my dad. So he was there from the time I was born. He was kind of down there in central Illinois. I grew up in Wisconsin. It's about a 4-hour drive. We go down and parents would leave us there for a couple of weeks in the summer, and we always used to go to the basketball court. I'm sure in his mind he taught me how to play basketball. He was terrible at it, but we played some one-on-one. It was fun. But he really taught me how to play pool. He's like, in my mind, he was Minnesota Fats growing up. I could never beat him in pool, so my affinity for shooting pool came from him. I didn't have a pool table where I grew up in Wisconsin, but every time we went there, we literally would just play hundreds of games for the week. So it was good. Like a couple years ago, he got put in hospice. I thought it was going to be the end, so I took the whole family down. We flew in for the Northern Illinois game at Buffalo. We drove down, saw him. He ended up coming around, came out of it. They took him out of hospice, and then I was able to go see him this past summer recruiting. So it's hard in this profession. Like, you're not where your family's at. You go where the jobs are. You know, my family's from Wisconsin. My mother's from Minnesota. My father's from Illinois. So all my relatives are pretty much back there. And living in Detroit for 11 years, and Buffalo for 6, and now down here. You're not close by, but I mean, he was 90, so learned a lot from him. Remember the memories and, try to take a positive outlook on it. But yeah,
So that's where you learned how to be a shark on the pool table. And take some
he was definitely the one who taught me how to play pool from a very young age. Back when they got pictures of me on his pool table in my diapers pushing the balls around, and I mean, he was great. He probably still would have. He passed away Sunday. If he could have stood on Saturday, he probably would have beat me in a game of pool if I'd have been able to get him to a pool hall out there. He was in Pekin, Illinois. But yeah, that's where I got it. Nobody in the team beats me in pool
That's
stuff.
what I was
Yeah,
kinda-
they can't. At least not in a series. Maybe one lucky game where I hit the 8 ball in early or something.
What was his name?
Bill Martin. He's really good. Great man. And I am going to be at the funerals Friday morning, so we're still working around practice. I think I'm going to have an early practice Friday and then get out of here, make it, and then be back. So we're either going to go early Friday morning so I can be here, or later Friday afternoon, probably leaning towards Friday morning practice, and then get out of there and be back in time Friday night to coach the game Saturday.
kind of take it back to basketball a little bit.
Yeah.
This rivalry, this is your first time going to Auburn. What have you already heard? I guess John kind of talked about the team, about the environment. What are you anticipating?
I mean, they know it's going to be hard to win there. We actually, our analytics guys pulled the splits up home and away for Auburn. There's like dramatic splits in the way they play at home versus the way they play on the road. I mean, some of the guys' shooting's double-digit percentage higher at home than it is on the road, and that's for the year. So that's not just a pick 2 games. That's, enough of a sample size where there's a difference. So, their crowd's great. Our crowd's getting really good. Obviously the more we win, the better it's going to get. But, their crowd, they've been winning here in the last few years. So their crowd comes out. I'm sure it'll be a sellout. They'll be after it. I love playing in big-time environments, whether it's home or away. It's great to play in a hostile environment too. You get to see what your guys' character's made of and see what they're made of. I think it's going to be fun playing in that environment, but it's going to be tough. It's going to be hard to hear at times. I haven't played there yet, but shoot, I'm looking forward to it. I know that our guys know what it's like. All the guys that have been here, the guys that haven't been here, this will be our 24th game, 26th if you count the exhibition scrimmage. We're far enough into the year. They shouldn't be rattled by a hostile crowd. I mean, they should be able to go play and enjoy the environment.
John told us about how he ripped his practice jersey while struggling with shots. Just, do you like to see that kind of passion, and how has he handled getting out of this, kind of slump he was in?
You know what? I noticed his practice jersey was ripped. I didn't know that. I didn't know why. I thought now I know. That's why he was missing shots and ripped it.
Yeah, he said he got frustrated in practice and ripped it. Yeah.
It's good that he's mad his shots aren't going in. He's a really good shooter. At one point, he was over 50% from 3. So, look, I told the guys, if you're in a slump, the only way I know how to get out of a slump is get your butt in the gym and shoot. See the ball go through the net, 500 times a day, 1,000 times. So, I'm guessing he'll be in the gym shooting sometime this afternoon if he's mad enough to rip his practice jersey over it. So, it's good. When I came in here, Reese was shooting. He hasn't shot it maybe as well as he's supposed to. Forbes was in early this morning shooting. That's where we got to get the culture to where the guys, it becomes a habit, an everyday habit where they're just in the gym making X number of shots, and then you'll see your slumps are going to be much shorter slumps, and you'll stay hot a lot longer if you're in the gym every day.
What did you learn about this team, the players after the overtime win? First time on the road, a tough, close win. What did you learn about this team?
Yeah, I mean, to drop 2 at home that we shouldn't have dropped, and we all know we shouldn't have dropped them, to bounce back and get a road win. And Georgia's not at the top of the conference, but they're talented. I mean, that roster's one of the more talented rosters. Now they're young. That's part of their issue with not being able to win close games and being up and down like they are a little bit with being up 22 at Florida. And so, but for us to go in against a talented roster like they have and still get a road win when it got close, I mean, again, that was one that should have been won in regulation. So to have the character and wherewithal to come back knowing you probably should have closed in regulation and still win it in overtime, I think our guys have grown and we need to win some close games. We need to figure out, hopefully that we play well enough that it is a close game tomorrow at Auburn, and we've won a couple close games here in the last couple of weeks, the K-State game, and now we won a road game that's close, so hopefully our guys have a little bit of confidence they can close out close games.
That did not really hurt you on the offensive moves here, but they're one of those teams that's really capable of doing that, particularly with burnout. Is that
Yeah, no,
back to being an emphasis?
it's a major concern. Wiley, they as a team didn't kill us. I mean, we won the game by 19, but Wiley had 7 in 20 minutes. If you go back and look at the box score, that's a ridiculous number in 20 minutes. So yeah, it's a major concern. Been talking about it with our bigs. Part of the issue though is when we have the major problem with the offensive rebound is our guards have been getting beat too much out on the perimeter. Then you're in a rotation. The bigs got to step over and help when the guards get beat. Now all of a sudden the guards got to box out the big, and that's been as much of our problem as, I told our guys sometimes rebounding, it's about being tough and we got to get tougher, but sometimes it's about playing great defense. Like if you're always in a rotation on defense because you're not where you're supposed to be or just can't keep your matchup in front of you, like you're going to have problems on the offensive board. So keeping Dowdy, McCormick, and Okoro in front of us is as much a part of our defensive rebounding as being physical with the box out. So we got to have both going.
Anything else, guys?
And another thing John mentioned, that every day I guess you would present them with their numbers and net rank, all the kind of particulars. What's behind that, kind of keeping them abreast of everything that's kind of going on around them?
When I'm a numbers guy to begin with, but there's a lot of objective viewpoint. Look, fellas, we weren't very good on D. Well, if you got a bunch of numbers to back it up, it carries a little more weight. Like if we look at the conference only KenPom sheet, we were 4th in this league on defensive efficiency going into the Georgia game. We won, so look, make sure we keep the positive. But I'm gonna be honest with them too. Like, in my opinion, that was one of our worst defensive games. It was good we won. Our offense was good enough, but fellas, Georgia's 14th out of 14 on defense. Our offense should have been good enough to win. Our defense dropped from 4th to 7th in one game. When you've got a 10-game sample size and you drop 4 to 7 in one game, you weren't very good. I mean, all the numbers, like points per possession, the second half of that game, it was bad. So we've got to get better. So I think when you put numbers behind some of your, it's not just an objective. Fellas, we didn't rebound well. Well, here was our defensive rebounding rate that game. Second half, 49% or whatever it was. Yeah, I think it holds a little more weight when you give them real numbers behind what you're saying than just giving some subjective, my point of view. Well, they might have a different point of view until you show the video and the numbers that back up your point of view. And so, you know what, sometimes as a coach, you got to look. That's why I try not to make a big deal. After games, I'm not a guy to sit in there and rant and rave for 20 minutes. Let me look at the film, make sure I'm right. Usually you are, but let's make sure I'm right, and then let's get some numbers to back it up, and then let's come in the next day and address the team with some real live video evidence and numbers, numerical data that backs up what you're trying to tell them. And sometimes you're wrong. Sometimes we weren't as bad as you thought in a certain area, and there was other issues. So I just think it's better to maintain a cool head, typically day after game. And again, when you come in with numbers, you don't have to rant and rave and be a raving lunatic. You just give them the data. They can, if you want to win, we got to fix it. If we fix these issues here.
All right, thank you.